Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick and Ryan Gerdes down at the end. Go ahead and text the word trigger to 623-AZ-RECON. That's trigger to 623-AZ-RECON. Gents, it does not happen very often, but every once in a while, I'll wake up, I'll look at the news, and I'll be like, I love my elected officials. Okay, it doesn't happen very often. I don't always feel like they've got my best interest in mind, but Justin, this is long overdue. The United States Senate and House has cleared a trigger leads ban, and the best way that I can describe it, if you've ever shopped for a home and got a credit report check, your phone gets blown up by a ton of lenders and just everybody because the credit bureaus are selling your information. And if President Trump signs this, it could be away just like the dodo bird, 60 days from the day he signs it.
Yeah. So trigger leads have been, and that's what these are called. These are called trigger leads. So basically, it's triggered by us pulling a hard inquiry on the credit report. And yes, the credit bureaus sell these out to different financial institutions based on whatever you're applying for, whether it's a car or mortgage, credit card. If they see if you've got a collection on there, they'll trigger and call you. And we've been when I say we, that's the MBA Mortgage Bankers Association, have been fighting for this since basically 21, because everybody was too busy in 2021 to worry about making these phone calls or buying these leads. And now these big call centers have been buying these leads and outbounding all these individuals. But it's caused a big mess because a lot of our borrowers that are under contract and we're processing loans, these other companies will act like us, have them send their documents to them.
Jeez.
And our borrowers will call us and said, yeah, somebody on your team named Mike called and collected my documents already. And you're like, that's not us.
Shoot.
My bad.
Right. Thanks, Mike.
I blame you, Mike.
But yeah, we've been fighting for this, and this just passed the Senate. So now it's in President Trump's hands to sign this document. If he signs the document, 180 days, and it will be illegal. Gives these companies time to adjust to continue to move forward. But this has been a topic of grief and hardship for us as lenders and our clients for a long time. And consumers will, as soon as this happens, they call us and they're like, did you sell my information? Now I'm getting all these calls all over the place. And as consumers, guys, you got to think about, would we want you to get other calls from lenders? And I think you understand the answer is no.
Right.
We don't want you having conversations with other lenders at that point. Like, the time to shop is before we get under contract and figure out who your go-tos are on who you're going to use to get rate quotes from. But no, we don't want to sell your information to anybody else. So it's the credit reporting agencies that are selling your information, and it doesn't make us happy either. And it's just part of something that we've been fighting on. And I can't believe this was actually allowed to begin with, because they're selling personal information.
We kind of had a conversation about this yesterday with a couple of people. Do we, as real estate professionals, do we give out 3 options for lenders, or do we give out 1 or whatever?
Had that same discussion this morning.
Yeah, and so there's obviously many schools of thought on it.
Absolutely.
But the 2 biggest ones are 1 or multiple, right? And we've obviously chosen that the best business model for us is to work exclusively with you whenever it comes to residential lending, right? So what the whole school of thought here is to give these people different options.
Mm-hmm.
And rarely have I run into a scenario where it was like, oh, hey, the best thing for you to do is to call up 5 different lenders and have them run your credit. So like over on the logistics side, there has they've loosened up some laws over there as far as having negative impact on credit by having
Yes.
what up to 3 you can do 3 within 6 months or
No,
something
you
like
can
that.
do as many as you want within the first 2 weeks.
Within the first 2 weeks. Okay, so like I said, they've loosened it up. Whereas before, if you would have gone rampant, letting everyone run your credit, you could just sit there
Destroy
and watch your credit report just deteriorate. So that being said, here's what you need to do. You need to do your research on how to interview for the type of lending and the type of programs that you're interested in. If you have a VA and you need to make sure that whoever you're working with is well seasoned, well spoken, and knows how to stack a good VA file, then you need to go do your own research on what's most important for you for that VA type of funding. If you know nothing about lending, then it's okay. There's so many different resources out there. You can even chat GPT it, and it can come up with a laundry list of different questions to ask. The last thing that you want to do, though, is start taking information from all different sorts of resources, because they're all going to have different ways that they're going to go about the business, right? And so if you start trying to shove square pegs through round holes, all of a sudden you're going to find yourself in a predicament where you're not only going to have a lot of people angry, but you're going to have a lot of assumptions and a lot of quote unquote knowledge that is just not true. So find one trusted resource and stick to it. And that's why we've decided that we're sticking with one.
Well, I got 3 points. So I'd never heard you put it this way yesterday, Ryan, when we were having this discussion. It was with another agent, and she's like, I like to provide 3 options. And you said to her, okay, of these 3 options, you have a favorite, right? And the one that you would use. She's like, yeah, then there you go.
Why the hell would you go anywhere else?
Why would you recommend anyone else? The other thing, that the argument that this law, or not the law, but the trigger lead program is instituted on behalf of the consumer, the benefit of the consumer, so that they have more options, is a freaking piece of crap bullshit lie from the pit of what.
Yeah.
This is a money grab,
making.
right? The credit bureau, the credit agencies are taking your data and they're selling it, and they're making a shit ton of money on it. And if President Trump signs it 60 days, now you're going to probably be paying more for credit pools.
Probably.
Because they're going to lose.
They're going to have to find their money somehow. And that's absolutely right.
Does that mean he's going after Zillow after this?
And my third point is the danger that you have. This is what I see. Okay, we've got somebody locked up and been pre-qualified with Justin, and here's the rate and the terms, and this is what the loan program looks like. And then we get that call from our buyer and say, hey, well, I got a call from this company, and they're quoting me this rate, and Justin sucks because Justin's rate's so much higher than them. And then we got to go through the whole process. Okay, send us the whole proposal from them, because the devil's always in the details.
Mm-hmm.
And when we dig into that, because you can't just look at the rate, you got to look at how much that rate is going to cost.
That's 100% right.
So I mean, I've read this summary, and I understand what's happening
All right,
here.
so let's just go ahead and get rid of this now.
No. My question for you, though, is, because I didn't click on the hyperlink and read this act word for word, is so he signs it. It's now, let's say it's a felony. First of all, who's going to police it? And really, what can anyone do about it?
Oh, well, I think if we're talking about the 3 major credit agencies, somebody can police 3 of them. Because if they get found out that they're now still continuing
This
to
is a
sell
solid
information.
question, though. This is a solid question, because I don't think the Department of Financial Institutions is going to police them.
No.
Who's the regulator that's policing them? I don't know.
And what's the minimum fine? What's the maximum fine?
Right.
Is someone going to jail because they called somebody?
Yeah, and I didn't click on the hyperlink either. So I don't know what that actually looks like. And I wonder what the details are going to be. I'm sure we're going to get release information on that. Because we're going to be the first, we're going to police it.
Yeah, right.
As mortgage lenders, we're definitely going to police that for sure. I guarantee it. Not as individuals, but as companies together. This is something that we will do together as companies to make sure that this isn't happening. And here's the sad part about this whole thing. When these trigger leads started coming around, we would put people on the national do not call list.
Mm-hmm.
And we would get the permission of the client, and we would send them the link. They would follow our instructions, get on the national do not call list,
And still get calls.
and still get calls.
Yep.
And it's not instantaneous, and they would still get calls. We would also like adjust before we made these inquiries, because they get to see the details of our application. And we would confirm this with our clients before we did this. Like, hey, do you want 100 calls? No. All right, we're going to try something new with you. We're going to remove your phone number. We're going to remove your email address. We're going to put that you're buying a manufactured home on leased land for $100,000, and
yeah.
the loan's going to be for $20,000. Your interest rate's going to be at 10% when we're pulling this, just to see if that would have a difference in this. No, I think these people buying these leads were coming up with forewarn, which I feel like is insane, or some type of system to pull these clients' information from. There's all kinds of data out there, right?
Here's my answer for your question: who's going to police it? Attorneys are going to police this. This has got the makings of a major class action lawsuit. And I think attorneys, if I'm an attorney and I'm into filing class action lawsuits, this is why I'm tracking. Are you still getting calls and so forth?
That's true.
Because if the credit agencies are still selling this information after that 60-day mark,
let's go to law school. This is going to happen.
So then let's dig a little bit into this. These trigger leads, are they usually in-house callers, or are they aggregates that are like a third party?
So it's hard to say that as a lender.
I know
I'm not the consumer. I'm not getting the
don't.
calls. And here's the thing, though. I am a consumer, and I have bought in homes, and I've answered those calls, and I'm like, well, I'm a lender. I feel like it's the institutions themselves rather than an aggregate, because I feel like I'm getting calls directly from the originators themselves. When I've answered those calls.
Well, I think what everybody should have been doing, and I get those calls every time I buy something with you, should have just answered all those calls and say, yeah, I am interested in sitting down. Meet me at Starbucks at 12 o'clock in Apache Junction. Just started setting up appointments.
You got 10 people show up.
You got to
you got to have them all show up at the same time. Yes.
That's a good TikTok video right there. And you post that, I bet you that gets 1 million views. I bet you that gets.
We need to do this
Yeah,
before
we
this
do
thing
need to
goes
do
into-
this, because that would be really cool.
Pull my credit now. All right. Well, trigger leads if President Trump signs it, and probably there's a good chance by the time that this podcast does get released, Trump will probably have already signed it,
Yep.
and then the 60-day clock ticks, and
180
days from the time Trump signs it. Then you should be free from getting a bunch of calls when you have your credit pulled. We'd love to have that discussion with you on navigating and strategizing the loan world, and what kind of mortgage programs are out there and available, and how creative can we get. And we'd love to have that conversation with you. All you got to do is text the word trigger to 623 AZ Recon. That's trigger to 623 AZ Recon.